Welcome to Bridge the Atlantic. We are your hosts, music web designer Ross Barber, owner of Electric Kiwi, where we create awesome custom websites for bands, artists, and musicians.
And I'm award-winning singer-songwriter and multi-instrumentalist Marcia Novelli, founder of the electronic rock band Midnight Soundtrack. This
week, we're excited to welcome Loren Israel to the show. Loren is an LA-based songwriting teacher, record producer, and A&R consultant who specializes in finding and developing new talent.
As the director of A&R at Capitol Records, he worked with Jimmy Eat World, Coldplay, and Less Than Jake. As an A&R consultant, he has worked with Plain White T's and Neon Trees, which rhymes. We're looking forward to hearing what advice Loren would offer to musicians looking to take their careers to the next level. Hey, Loren, how's it going? Welcome to the show.
Hi, Ross and Marcia. What's up? Hey, Ross, what state or country are you in?
I want you to take a guess. Where do you think I am?
Scotland.
Ah, nice. Glasgow,
Very
Scotland.
Good. Not Ireland, as most people seem to think I'm from.
Really?
I'm
Why is
looking at
that?
you,
No,
Daniel
yeah.
Wagner, who interviewed me on his podcast and thought I was from Ireland. I'm from Scotland. Well done.
Awesome. And how about you, Marcio?
Toronto area in Canada.
I'm so sorry. Okay, so what are we doing?
And this is how we start the interview.
I like the way this is going. So far, I feel like I'm winning somehow.
You know, Canada's a lovely place if you want to visit your addict. Addict.
Why?
Okay, sorry. Let's go. I'm sorry. No, it's a lovely place.
Well, you know what? I'm from Canada, so I will say sorry on your behalf. Because that's just what we do here. So, Loren, tell us 3 things about yourself that everyone should know.
Honest, passionate, hardworking.
I could not agree with that anymore.
You don't know, but if you do know, that's what it is.
No, I mean, that's what I would say for myself if I were asked that question.
Oh, good. Awesome.
Yeah,
awesome.
I totally agree with that. That's awesome.
Very important. Very important for being a human, but probably more so for someone that works in the music industry. I think those are 3 things that you need for sure.
You'd be surprised, Ross, at how few artists really embrace those 3 elements: passion, hard work, and honesty, especially the hard work. I've noticed a lot these days. Artists feel far more entitled and less passionate about the hard work, and it's really concerning me. But we hopefully find people of like mind and work together and make great music.
I like that. I like that. Well, speaking of working hard, you played a big part in launching Jimmy Eat World and Plain White T's into the mainstream. I was wondering if you could tell us a little bit about what your role was specifically and what you look for when finding new acts to mentor and develop.
Well, early on, I have a tendency to find artists that are not as developed, that need a lot of work. Not that they're not talented or not smart or not hugely musical, but I help in all aspects: songwriting, marketing, live shows, promotion, getting them record deals, getting them publishing deals. It's absolutely everything: the look of the band, the aesthetic, the website. So with both those bands, I was there from pretty much day one. And that's everything. I mean, essentially, development is absolutely everything.
Absolutely. And, you know, that I find that that's something that a lot of record labels don't focus on nowadays. It seems like they want to find an artist that's already developed themselves to a point where they are finding success. And that's the point where a record label wants to come in, where it seems like even a decade ago, there were more artists being signed to record labels that you hadn't really heard of, and then you do hear of 2-3 years later down the road. Development deals aren't something that are happening as much. What are your thoughts on that?
Record labels do not and pretty much have never really developed artists. It's far more difficult today to get a record deal than it was yesterday or even 10 years ago, if in fact you want a record deal. What I like to call it is, how do you get people with a lot of money to invest in your business? And that could be a record label, that could be American Apparel, it could be Red Bull, it could be Restoration Hardware, it could be anybody. But for this purpose, let's call it a record company. They want an artist, an emerging artist, to come there with social media numbers, a built-in fan base, demand for their tickets, demand for their T-shirts, demand for their product or their brand. And for certain types of artists, alternative artists, indie artists, it's much more difficult to get that demand. EDM artists that are good on the web or that are web friendly, it's a little bit easier to get those social media numbers. Having said all that, record companies now want to take, have an artist already build a groundswell, already build a foundation, and then they will take it. What I do is I help artists build that groundswell, build the demand, build the absolute that someone else is gonna help them with a bigger pocketbook.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that a lot of artists don't realize that at the end of the day, a record company is almost like a bank. It's kind of like they are your money source, as well as obviously their resources, connections-wise, having their whole team together. But at the end of the day, like you said very well, if you can find other people to give you that money, and if you, not just to give you the money, but you still need to know what to do with that money, you don't necessarily need a record label, especially nowadays with how much social media plays such a large role in helping a band emerge and maintain their success.
We got, last year, I was lucky enough to be working with a band called the Unlikely Candidates, and I have an entire team in my company. I have radio, I have a blog marketing company that works with me, I have producers, I have writers, everything. We were lucky enough to chart on the alternative charts. And from there, that tipping point got us a major label, big record deal with Atlantic Records. That's what you need. You need those tipping points. Now, that's only if you want to get either a major record company or someone with, like you said, more of a bank to help invest in you. But frankly, you need a bank. You need that help. An artist cannot do it him or herself. It's really impossible. You really need smart people that mentor you, that help you. I really, really believe that, whether it's your manager and his team or your family, I don't know, but you need help. An artist cannot get to the highest levels without a great deal of help. It's impossible. And what I do, absolutely, what I do is I come in there very, very early because that's what I love doing. I love doing that. But to get back to your point, labels don't do that. As a matter of fact, you will find very few people to do what I do at my level because it's so hard. I happen to love it and enjoy the work. I'm very passionate about it, but you're too vulnerable.
I like that.
I think that leads quite nicely into the next question that I wanted to ask you, which was you do offer a mentoring service to artists. So I would like to know a little bit about how artists can benefit from having a mentor and what some of the common mistakes and complaints that you see from artists are.
Very good question. I'm available to any artist, anyone. My wife thinks I'm crazy because I'll take on anyone, but they have to meet these criteria. I have to actually understand the music they're doing. I have to actually feel as though I can really make a difference. And third, they have to actually be interested in the service. And I take anyone, and I can help anyone. I think the common complaints is they want me to do it for free. And I don't do it for free.
Everyone. Everyone. We can all relate to that.
That's a common complaint. For me, with what I do, because I'm an artist myself, I grew up as a musician, so I understand the ebb and flow of an artist. Sometimes they're involved and sometimes they're not. So I'm available 24/7 to my artists, because I recognize that when you're actually involved in the creative process, if you wait a day, 2 days, or 3 days to get back to someone with any kind of substantive feedback or advice, you lose that energy, you lose that momentum, you lose that connection, and I love it. I mean, some of my artists call me at 1 a.m. Some of them call me at 8. You know, it just depends. I have artists all over the world: South Africa, England, some Canadians. But I think that artists get the misconception that my time or anyone's time is for free, and that is clearly a misconception.
So what, I'm not a huge fan of having to place a label on something, but what sort of title would you give yourself to help people more greater understand what it is you do for artists, if you could?
Marco, I wish I had someone smarter than me at this marketing thing. But I like to call myself a record producer, because that's what I do,
Gotcha. Very nice.
But I specialize in helping emerging talent get record deals or get deals that help them further along.
Nice.
And you were A&R director at Capitol Records for many years, and I imagine you've probably seen and heard it all. The good, the bad, the ugly, the everything in between. What do you think the biggest mistakes that artists make when they're trying to find a record deal or step up to that next kind of level?
I will let everyone know the biggest mistake artists make when they're at a major label is they don't understand that it's all about the hits. They don't write songs enough, and they don't write hits, and they fool themselves into thinking their bullshit art song means anything to the label. Record labels are run by promotion companies. The promotion departments. Having said that, the promotion departments are there to get your songs on the radio. If you're at a major label, Capitol, Universal, anyone, their job is to get your songs on the radio. If you do not want to play that game, do not take their money. Period. Don't take their money. Secondly, you better be writing songs every frickin' day. Every day. Write a song, work on a song, and right or wrong, good or bad, the label and your partner label is looking for hits.
Now that's on the major label. So basically, unless you want to play that game, like you're saying, maybe look for an independent label that you could work on.
Absolutely. That some indie labels are press-driven labels. Some are, frankly, internet-driven labels. Some labels are very good at touring. So you have to really be smart, or have smart people around you to advise you and saying, okay, we're going to Danger Bird, or we're going to whatever label, Sumerian, or whatever, or Fearless, or whatever these labels are. What is the culture there? What do my partners expect of me? Mm-hmm. Let's just be honest. I try to take the mystery out of a mysterious music business that doesn't need to be mysterious.
Especially not today. Sorry, especially not today.
Yes. Yes, it doesn't need to be. Let's just be smart and honest with ourselves, and let us find out what the real substance is about what we're doing and how we interact with the people that are trying to help us. But if we don't understand that, we're doomed to failure.
It's you're entering into a partnership, and it's got to be mutually beneficial, right? And the idea that a label is just going to make someone famous, simply put, is kind of outrageous. I love how you do that. You really demystify it, and it's almost like if you're going to sit down with if you're lucky enough to get into the opportunity to sit down with them, it's almost like, what are you expecting from me? Is this label basically mostly driven on the artist getting out there and touring 300 days a year, which is
right.
Which is great. Does that work for you? Is that something you're willing to do? Yeah.
Exactly.
And if it's not, then maybe it's not the right label for you.
Absolutely. Let's look at the culture of the label. Let's look at how they see us. But you're right. And back to Ross's point, I think that the lack or the denial of understanding what our partners want and to realistically assess what that mutual beneficial goal is a big concern, and that is not that hard to figure out. Like, it's simple. Are you touring? If you're touring a lot, then you're probably a touring band. If you're not touring at all, you ain't a touring band. So what are you? I mean, it's just, are you doing music that is web-based, or is it blowing up on SoundCloud, or are you a pitchfork band? Okay, then how do we maximize that? If you're a band that maybe writes some sort of poppy songs, you don't tour that much, you don't do very much blog work, okay, is there a label for that? So again, demystifying a mysterious music business is what my sort of goal is. And it's very simple. Let's just be smart. Let's just realistically look at who we are, who we sing for, who our audience is, and how to best get there.
The other thing I think I'd love to hear you comment on is, for example, some artists who are not looking to tour heavily, there's also some, being a songwriter, you can still be a songwriter for yourself, but having a publishing deal and getting lots of licensing, that could be an approach to take more so than the touring route. And getting your songs placed, that can be a great, significant source of income while you're focusing on the songwriting side of things rather than the touring side of things. What are your thoughts on that?
If you're a songwriter, if you want to be a songwriter, if you're lucky enough to be in a major metropolitan city, get out there and meet publishers. Get out there and meet producers. By the way, your favorite producers are either on Twitter, they're on Instagram, or they're on Facebook. Hit them up. Don't be bashful. Hey, Max, or hey, whatever, I'm a songwriter, and I know you probably aren't going to get this, but I'm going to make sure that you're going to listen to one of my songs. I mean, You've got to be bold. You've got to be bold.
I can attest to that. And the people that you don't expect to get back to you sometimes are the ones who get back to you right away. It's like,
absolutely.
Oh, wow, this person did get back to me, but this person I thought never would did.
Yeah.
Right, and don't be such a pussy. Do it. Just do it. Right?
Yeah.
And don't say, oh, I sent him an email and he didn't get back to me. Did you send the fucker 50 emails? And if you sent him 50, figure out how to send him 50 more. Yeah. Don't be mean. Don't be disrespectful. No. Just figure it out.
And if someone turns you down, I think it's so important to thank them still for their time. Like Ross and I, we know that there are people out there that have. They're as nice as they can be when they want something out of you, and if you don't give them that, then suddenly their true colors come out. Just be a decent person. I don't think people realize how connected and small the music industry really truly is.
I notice it every single day. I
notice with the show.
I see people on Twitter posting. I'm like, how do you know this person? Or I find someone on Facebook, and I'm just like, we know like 15 of the same people. So how does this even happen?
This is our 60-second interview, I believe. And even just within that, the amount of people that know each other, we had no idea know each other from all over the world.
You're right.
All over the world has blown our minds of how connected people are. So
it's crazy. So don't piss the wrong person off, because if you piss them off, everyone is going to know about it, and you look like an asshole.
But it doesn't mean, at the same time, just as a side note, doesn't mean you're going to click with everyone, and that's important. I think I want to hear your thoughts on this, Loren. How important is it to work with people you click with, not just people that you think are going to change your life,
Okay, well, clicking with, right? If one of my artists is in the studio for a brief period of time with an artist he doesn't click with, suck it up, learn something, and go home with a better song or a better recording.
Sure.
If you're going to have a long-term relationship with someone, it's probably best you understand what their core values are, honestly. I have to say that the person I am is reflected by the bands I choose. So I've always said that, even when I was actually very young and playing music, you have to choose your manager, your lawyer, your producer, your guitar tech, not because they're a great executive or guitar tech, but because there is some affinity from a foundational perspective. But maybe that's a little bit too punk rock of me, but
no, I agree.
I firmly believe that you want and you'll find that naturally the bands that I work with have, just by virtue of them being in my world and I'm in their world, we have similar foundational, I guess, morals. I don't want to sound too heavy, but it happens, especially if you're sober. There are some artists, right, who are just animals, right? They're just animals, and they're going to be successful and animalistic, and they will attract other animals. Some artists attract different people, and I think that that's human, right? So sometimes, Marcio, we don't necessarily choose the people we work with. It chooses us.
I love that. Well, Ross will tell you, I often preach on the show to musicians to build your team as best as you can, about 90%. Like you said, some people you're going to have to work with for whatever reason. Someone might appoint it to you. But for the most part, build your own team with people that are obviously skilled at what they do, but most importantly, people you click with and that you can work well together. And I think that's exactly what you're saying, Loren.
Yep.
So, okay, are you ready for 20 questions? Coffee or tea?
Neither.
Meat or veggies?
Both.
TV or Netflix?
Netflix, come on.
Yeah.
Twitter or Facebook?
Twitter.
Yoga or yogurt?
Fuck you.
Green Day or Blink-182?
Green Day, come on, really?
I know, I had to ask.
I grew up on Green Day, though. Not so much in the
Come on,
last
guys.
decade, but...
Let me ask you guys a question, right? Let me ask you motherfuckers a question. The Clash or the Stones?
Clash.
Yeah, probably Clash.
Okay,
Yeah.
Go ahead. Let's go.
Friends or Seinfeld?
The Office. Hello, The Office. The Office.
We have a question
Francis
that's kind of
Seinfeld.
related to that coming up. It's coming
Oh
up.
Okay,
yeah, we do.
Okay, you'll
All
get
right.
it.
But yeah,
Come on,
The
guys.
Office is a good one.
Yeah.
Bad Religion or Social Distortion?
Social Distortion.
I
Although
meant the
both
basis
are very
of Bad
good
Religion.
friends.
I met the basis of Bad Religion, if that means anything. Okay, now here are
It
two of
doesn't.
my favorite bands. One of them's still one of my favorite bands. Thrice or Thursday?
They both suck. Next. Thrice or
Canada?
Thursday.
Or Scotland?
Oh, Scotland. Absolutely Scotland.
Where's this
Absolutely.
hate from Canada? Come on.
Although Canada is very nice, Scotland. Thank you. Next
House of
question.
Cards or Orange is the New Black? Just to make you happy, a show that's on the air now, not in the 90s.
And, okay. Thank you. God, you guys are young, like fucking. What are you gonna? Next question: Jennifer Aniston or
Russ
some
will
other.
ask
Marcio will
that
change that.
question.
Marcio will change that
We'll
question.
change it. Let me change it right now.
Okay, wait. Okay, I'm gonna answer this question. House of Cards, absolutely, but you guys gotta watch The Boss or Boss
Yeah,
with Kelsey Grammer.
I watched a few episodes of that.
So
It's
good.
Yeah, it's good.
So good. It's even better in my opinion than House of Cards. But
Yeah, it's
go
a
ahead.
good show.
Let's go.
Some more fairly relevant bands.
Yeah, that's relevant.
Yeah. Paramore or Fall Out Boy?
How are these bands relevant?
They're great bands, particularly
Like,
Paramore. It's
Paramore's
really
great.
good.
Yeah.
I'm not a fan of either.
The Beatles or the Rolling Stones?
Rolling Stones.
Education or experience?
That's a really good question.
Finally,
You know-
number 14.
And you know-
We have a
This is
question
good
he likes.
question. We did it.
And I'm going to say this. My wife, who I love and inspires me every day, has her Juris Doctorate. But I'll have to say experience.
I agree.
As much as that kills me, I'd have to say experience.
Michael Jackson or Michael Bolton?
God, you guys, seriously. I'm going to email you some much better questions. Are you kidding me? Michael Jackson.
There's a reason why we have that, though. We want to get Michael Bolton on the show because I think we both grew up with our mothers listening to it, and it's kind of an ironic thing that we want to get Michael Bolton on the show.
It's kind of got to the point now where everyone kind of knows that I'm kind of in love with Michael Bolton a little bit. Kind of. Celine Dion or Marilyn Manson?
No. See, no. Come on, guys.
Come
really?
on.
Is this,
give it to us. Just give it to us.
To be honest with you, can I be honest with you? Celine Dion. I'll have to go with Celine Dion.
Ricky Gervais or Ricky Martin?
That's funny. Ricky Gervais.
Quail or kale?
Quail. That's funny.
It's actually whale or kale, but we'll go with quail. I like that better.
That's funny.
Bette Midler or the Riddler?
Oh my God, Bette Midler. I've seen her perform.
Really?
She's insane. Yeah, she's incredible.
In the final question, blah, 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 drum roll.
Thank God. Go ahead.
Ross or Marcio?
Marcio.
Oh, I'm glad you said that.
Ross is more handsome.
This is true. We all know this. And he actually cleans himself up before the interview.
But I'd have to go with Marcio.
Well, I
apologize, Ross.
So this is good that you say this.
We're all good. We're all good.
Now, okay, I've got one last question for you. Going back to artists, how can artists develop their sound and build a strong foundation for their career? And also, is this something that you think artists have to do by themselves now, in the age we live in, or is this something that there's no way they can completely do on their own? You somewhat already answered that.
Well, okay. I'll have to say that it's far too complex of a question to answer frivolously. So I'll have to just give you a few just very major points.
Yes, please do.
Build relationships, work hard, and work smart. But I have to tell you, since this is the business I do, there needs to be a much longer answer to that question that would bore most people. But, excuse me, work hard, work smart, and build a lot of relationships. But that's what I would say.
No, I think that's good.
Yeah.
What are you listening to recently? What sort of music recommendations can you give us?
There's an artist by the name of Nathaniel Rateliff that I really like. He's from Colorado. That's really tickling my fancy right now.
Cool. Definitely, we'll go check him out. And I think everyone should check you out so that they can get more of this craziness of Loren here. LorenIsrael.com, and it's the same on Twitter. Consistent branding is what I'm liking here. We always talk about getting consistent branding along social media. And now I'm currently working on my next solo album and have just released my side project Midnight Soundtrack's debut album, Foreplay. You can hear my music on marcionovelli.com. Make sure to follow me on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram, which are all /Marcio Novelli.
I'm working on websites for various artists at the moment. You can check out my work and my blog posts at electrickiwi.co.uk. You'll find me on Twitter and Instagram as Electric Kiwi, and on Facebook, Electric Kiwi Design. And
this episode is brought to you by Chris Keaton Presents. Find out more about what Chris does and how he can help you at chriskeaton.com. And if you'd like to sponsor the show, visit bridge-the-atlantic.com/sponsors. Loren, thanks so much for first making me feel so empowered, and then later making me feel terrible about our show that we've been working on for a year. So do you like to keep the balance? Is that what you do, Loren?
Yeah, there you go. There you go. Keep it real and keep you grounded.
Thanks for watching Bridge the Atlantic. If you like what you saw, make sure to like, favorite, and most importantly, subscribe so that you don't miss each week's episode. Click on the videos above us if you'd like to see more, and please feel free to leave us a comment letting us know what you think of the show. Follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook, and subscribe to us on iTunes so that you can listen to us on the go. Thanks again for being awesome, and we'll see you on next week's episode.